That would be interesting. A live drunk show.
We represent.
We could turn into the Lollipop Guild and we drink.
We could.
And you're divulging all our secrets.
Welcome to AT Banter, the podcast where we discuss anything and everything regarding the world of assistive technology. With our hosts, Steve Barkley, Rob Minot, and Ryan Fleury. Now, let's banter.
And welcome, everybody, to yet another episode of AT Banter. See, man, I'm getting good at these intros.
You really are.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty silky.
I feel like the game show host may not be too far from in my future.
Yeah, it could happen.
Welcome to Wheel of Fortune.
He's got the receding hairline going.
The only problem is you forgot to mention who you were.
Yeah, he doesn't know who he is.
I don't like last episode. We screwed up our name. Incidentally, I listened to those and edited those. You did screw up your name,
Steve Barkley.
I screwed up my name, and you right after screwed up your name.
I still get a chuckle out of that.
It's true. We did.
Well,
but in any case, I am Rob Minot, and today I'm joined by Ryan Fleury.
Hello.
And Steve Barkley.
That's Barkle to you.
Yes, some things we get right. Occasionally we do get our own names right. Sometimes. So today is a pretty special episode. We have a very special guest coming up in a little bit. You guys excited?
I'm thrilled to bits.
Yeah, I'm excited. She's quite funny, humorous. Humorous is funny. So yeah.
What?
try saying that same thing with a smile. Yes, I'm very excited about our guest.
She's very humorous.
She's super funny.
Leave that in. Oh, we're off the rails again.
Yeah, there we go.
It didn't take long.
No.
Oh, God. I don't know. Should we do that again?
We'll never reproduce that.
I don't know.
No,
Like,
we got to leave that
We
in.
gotta leave that in. Absolutely.
Calling me a trumpet.
No more beer for me. All right.
Not for breakfast.
It's Wednesday.
That's right. Hump day.
Yes. So, yes, we are all very excited, clearly, of our special guest.
Oh, boy.
Ryan has lost it.
All right. Let's try this. Oh, my.
It's like those old Carol Burnett shows. Remember how Tim Conway used to lose it? And just could not
Get him back.
keep it together. It's kind of like, okay, your mic's off now.
All right.
Okay, get
we're
closer.
good. Yeah, we're
Get
good.
closer to your mic.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Yeah, so that's coming up later. We've got our special guest. First, a couple announcements. We really need to say aloha to somebody.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha to Anne in Hawaii.
We have a listener in Hawaii.
We did. We got a lovely email from her.
Yes, thanks for writing in, Anne.
Yeah, absolutely.
We asked for email and somebody obliged.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. And you know what? I think it's not easy to email us because we keep screwing up our email when we actually say it on the podcast.
Yeah, that could be why.
Do you guys even know what the email address is?
I believe it's atbanter@gmail.com.
No, you're wrong. Oh,
No.
my gosh.
Wow.
Rob, do you know?
I should really not be the guy saying it.
No, I think I can get it right this time. It's atbanterpodcast@gmail.com.
Right. Excellent.
Why so long? Why not just atbanter@gmail.com?
I think
Because it was taken.
Really? Somebody's got AT-banter?
I know, weird, right? It's always weird when, you figure you've got a really super unique username and somebody's got it.
Next thing you know, somebody's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been gaming for a long time under the pseudonym Shag the Fabulous. And I actually had to I don't remember what game it was, but I had to use something else because
Shag the Fabulous.
somebody had taken Shag the Fabulous ahead of me.
We just have too many people on the planet.
Apparently.
Terrible.
No, I'm still getting over this cold. The cough it takes forever to get rid of. All right, let's talk a little bit before we bring on our special guest. Let's talk a little bit about a couple follow-up news stories about our good friend Windows 10.
Yeah. In a previous episode, we talked about the annoyance of Windows 10 going and updating itself. One day you're sitting there with Windows 7 or Windows 8. Next thing you know, you turn on your computer.
Ta-da!
Hey, Windows 10. I didn't want that. Now half my software doesn't work. So there's been some developments in that. First off, we've got a story here, which where was this published of?
Seattle, wasn't it?
Seattle Times. Yeah, Seattle Times, called Microsoft draws flack for pushing Windows 10 on PC users. And it talks about a lawsuit that happened in the U.S. and Microsoft got dinged $10,000 for this automatic update and the impact that it had on someone's business.
Right. Well, this woman, it was a laptop, I think, that it got pushed to, and it basically became unusable.
Yeah, she ran a travel agency business, and after the Windows 10 upgrade went in, the computer would keep crashing all the time and be unusable for days at a time. So it had a serious impact on her business, and a court apparently agreed that Microsoft was in the wrong, and they had to pay damages.
It kind of surprises me. It seems like that's a really fast litigation.
What surprises me is that was she not aware that she was able to roll back within the 30 days of it installing itself?
Yeah, and she did try and go back to Windows 10 or back to Windows 7, which she was using previously. But when she went to do it, it was past the 31-day period for rolling back, and she wasn't able to anymore.
Right.
Well, and it sounds like Microsoft has even dropped the appeal. They were going to appeal this thing, but they just haven't bothered and just went out and dished out the $10,000.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm kind of surprised that a company the size of Microsoft, with all the lawyers behind them, would lose this. You often see cases where a company's willing to throw a lot of money at lawyers before they're willing to admit fault.
Absolutely.
But in this case, I think they're doing the right thing. They paid the piper, and now they've gone and they've made some changes.
Well, I find it interesting too that this lawsuit didn't happen sooner, because this has been going on for months and months.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm surprised too. And I'm surprised that it really does set a bit of a dangerous precedent for Microsoft, I think, because I think there are probably users out there that have been impacted far more than this woman. I can think of our clients, some of our clients, for example, right? Somebody who's using some AT software that, like JAWS, that's not going to play with Windows 10 at all, and Windows 10 just upgrades. They've basically got a computer that's a paperweight.
Well, I mean, they would have to, in that case, if they knew how, they would have to activate Narrator and then go back and do the rollback to get back to the previous version of Windows. If they didn't know how to do that, though, they'd probably have to hire somebody,
absolutely,
to do that for them. And it makes you wonder if the door isn't open for class action.
Yep.
In this instance.
So what have they changed then?
Well, they've now announced as of the 29th of June, I believe, that if you click the big red X to close its message about your Windows 10 upgrade is ready, it will not do the upgrade.
Really? So they've changed the Big X to make it do what it's supposed to do along. Wow. How nice of them.
Yeah.
I think, though, doesn't it give you options now? It doesn't actually just close it. It actually gives you 3 options where you can delay it or not do it at all.
Yeah, it gives you 3 options. It gives you the option of upgrade now, choose a time, or decline the free offer. And if the red X is selected on this new dialog, it will dismiss the dialog box and it will notify the device again in a few days. But it won't go and automatically do the upgrade.
So I wonder if you, let's say, hit Alt F4 to close that window, is that dialog going to get read to you using a screen reader?
I would think so. I mean, it's an operating system dialog box, so I don't see why it wouldn't.
Okay.
But I mean, it's still ridiculous because it's still something you have to opt out of every few days because it says right there that, it'll serve it up again in 2 days.
Right. And this is probably a good time to mention that software that you've been recommending, Ryan.
Yeah. Gibson Research has a free app you can download and install and run called Never 10. And basically, once you run it, all it basically does is gives you a button where you can disable the Windows 10 from never updating. And if you do choose to get it, you can hit the enable button and it'll enable it again. And it's very, very slick. It's free. And we can have a link in the show notes.
Really? I'm surprised that Microsoft hasn't cracked down on that because that's...
No, I've used it on a couple different computers, my own and clients.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I think Microsoft knows what they're doing is wrong. Making a Windows 10 update part of the recommended Windows updates, that's wrong. And I'm sure they know that.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, it can be recommended, but it shouldn't be forced.
Right.
Anyways, nice Microsoft. Thanks for coming around.
It's I love in this article how they described the Microsoft, the Redmond spreadsheet maker. That's what they're best known for.
Yeah. That's. I think they might have grown a little beyond just a spreadsheet maker.
I think so.
Yeah, just a tad. A little bigger than that now.
All right. Well, should we get on with our special guest?
Probably.
Blah, blah. Sorry. Apparently, until this coffee goes in, I'm incapable of speech. Yes, let's get on with our special guest.
Ryan, you want to introduce Alexis? Oh, I just blew it. I just gave away our special guest.
Did, so you might as well continue on.
Sorry. No. You go on.
All right.
This is a professional recording.
Oh, is it? Uh-oh. I would like to welcome our special guest for today, who I saw had done a feature on AMI. And
what's AMI, Ryan?
AMI is the Accessible Media Channel. I don't know what the I stands for. Do you?
Incorporated.
AMI Incorporated. I see. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Hey, that sounds a lot like our special guest. Maybe we should say who she is.
Our special guest today is Alexis Hillyard from Stump Kitchen.
Yay. And what is Stump Kitchen, Ryan?
Well, why don't we let our special guest tell us what Stump Kitchen is?
Sweet. Okay. Hello. Stump Kitchen is my YouTube show. Yeah. And it's all about cooking with one hand, vegan and gluten-free, delicious recipes.
That's right. So just to give you a little bit of background. So Ryan turned us on to your channel. He you saw it through the AMI feature on YouTube?
Yeah. I was searching the internet for something and I saw that AMI had done a feature on Alexis, and when I watched an episode or two, I decided we needed to get her on the podcast.
Yeah, I think it was the chicken wings episode that did it for Ryan. I know he ran around the office telling us all, you have to watch this. You have to watch this. We need to get this person for a podcast.
Well, her attitude, her personality was just amazing. So I thought, we need to get her on the show and be a fun show.
So just to give the people out there on the internet an idea of Alexis's show, we'll just play a little bit of a short clip that we put together, just to give you an idea.
Stump Kitchen, gluten-free, vegan eats, stumptastic treats.
Today on Stump Kitchen, we're gonna make chicken wings. Step 1, get a good knife, but not too good. You don't want to cut off a lamb. Now it's time for the saucy sauce. Half a cup of flour blend. Boom. Chicken wing technique again. Just nestle it in and give it a shake with your stump. I really like garlic powder, so I put in a little extra. And then 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil. Here's your tablespoon, and use your stump to just get it out of there. Just like so. Pepper grinders. Oh, love-hate relationship with pepper grinders, eh? Stick it in the crook of your stump if you have one, and then twist. Try with your foot. It's working. You know, Stump Kitchen, there's no limits to what you can do with imagination. You, pepper grinder. Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing what a theme song and some sweet thumbnails can do for your image.
It's true, and that is a good theme song. Tell me, actually, can you give us any insight on that theme song?
Sure can. So I was coming home from work, taking the LRT, and I came outside and was walking home and was thinking so much about starting the show and was getting really excited. And it literally just came to me. And I had my phone with me and I started singing it over and over again. And I pressed record on my phone and I recorded it. And then I sent the rough cut of that to my friend Tyson, who I sing with in choir. He's a jazz musician, and he arranged it to the version that you hear on the show.
Wow, that's amazing. So you basically have mass transit to thank for it.
I sure do. Yeah, I have our LRT system to thank for that gem.
Well, the SkyTrain in Vancouver has done me no like favors. So.
Oh. Maybe give it a chance. Take a ride and see what happens.
Okay. So, Alexis, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great. Yeah. I live in Edmonton. Woo-hoo. And yep, born and raised. I work at the library and I'm a singer. I sing in choir and I love to cook. Yeah. That's me.
Sorry, so that's the public library that you work at, or which library?
I do, yeah. It's a pretty fantastic library. Mm-hmm. Edmonton Public Library.
I believe you actually have some of our assistive technology in that library.
Probably. Yeah, I'm at the library with, we have the makerspace. And actually, the makerspace is where I learned how to film and create Stump Kitchen, which is kind of cool.
What does your makerspace have at that library?
It's got a couple of 3D printers. It has a bookmaker. It has 2 sound recording booths, and I'm actually in one of them right now. It has lots of computers with a bunch of programs and suites for editing and making and creating, and it has a green screen. It's pretty awesome.
How long have you worked at the library?
Almost a year.
So, I guess there's no spoilers here. You have a very, very tiny hand.
I sure do. The way I like to describe it is that I actually only have one hand, but I guess that's kind of a lie. I guess I do have 2 hands. One's just really small, but I have a stump. I have one hand. Yeah.
And what sort of challenges does that present you?
Actually none. I've never really experienced challenges in the way that we would maybe assume. It's actually a thing that I love so much about myself, and particularly for like icebreaker conversations, for party tricks is really fun. I just love it. You can wash dishes easier by like sticking your stump inside the hard to reach places. Like I think mostly the challenges people might assume I have are incredible opportunities and incredible advantages. I love it so much.
Yeah, that's a good point. You could wash mugs way easier.
So fast, so better. I would love to have a dishwashing challenge with any 2-handed person. I think I would win. In fact, I've done a lot of
Edmonton, you're on.
What?
Next time I'm in Edmonton, we'll do that.
Okay, that sounds great.
Stump Kitchen dishwashing challenge.
The gauntlet has been dropped.
Done. Let's do it.
I was actually watching your guacamole episode this morning, and I got quite a chuckle out of you using your stump as a lime juicer.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a pretty awesome kitchen technique. Yeah, I get to use my body in some pretty amazing ways. You save money on, like, I don't have to buy a juicer for citrus, which is awesome. Yeah, it's pretty rad.
So have you ever had a prosthetic?
Yeah, I've had tons. Since I was like 18 months old or younger, I had a bunch of different kinds. But my mom tells this funny story that she would put on my prosthetic. It was like a little mini hook. She would put it on me and I would just sit there. Just like when you put clothing on a pet or like a cat, like a t-shirt on a cat, they just sit there like a lump. I didn't really like it too much. But then growing up, I had a really sweet myoelectric arm, which could open and close using my muscles and little electrodes. And that was pretty sweet. Like I, tried it out. But one birthday party when I was maybe 10 or 11, we went to Chuck E. Cheese and we were playing in the ball pit. Super fun. And I had my arm on. I got really sweaty and sticky and hot. And eventually my arm got so sweaty that it pretty much kind of slipped off and it got lost in the ball pit. And all I really remember from that day is, all the kids being dragged out of the ball pit and my angry dad going into the ball pit and just searching for this fake arm. Like, where is this? Blah, blah, blah. And then this image of him like passing it to my mom through the mesh and her putting it in her purse. This is pretty funny. All that to say is, yeah, I tried prosthetics. I think that they're super awesome. But for me personally, they didn't really assist or enhance my life, and it kind of ended up getting in the way a little bit. So I stopped using them at the end of elementary school. But I still keep the old ones for, just for fun, just to look at sometimes, because they were a cool part of my life.
And so tell us what prompted you to actually start up the YouTube channel.
Yeah, good question. So I've got a pretty interesting diet. I was diagnosed with a moderate gluten intolerance about 4 or 5 years ago. So I had to take out all the gluten. And then about a year ago, I switched from being a vegetarian to a full vegan. So eating no animal products whatsoever. No cheese, no dairy, no nothing. And I really wanted to be able to take good care of myself. So I had to get into cooking and like figuring out what recipes I could make at home. Because I'm a big fan of bringing my lunch to work and cooking for myself. So that really, it was my dietary changes that spurred my cooking passion. And I thought initially it would be super hard. I was like, oh, what am I going to eat? I don't know. But it was incredibly easy and incredibly fun. And so the channel came out of wanting to show and teach folks that a vegan gluten-free diet is actually relatively accessible and fun and not super confusing if you know what recipes to use. Yeah.
What are some of the different techniques you use in the kitchen to make your recipes?
Well, good question. Looking through the episodes, I use a lot of techniques that are kind of adapted to my body, which is a body that has one hand versus two. So I hold a lot of things closer to my body. And in turn, I do a lot of spilling. So you'll notice in the waffle episode, I talk about wearing clothing that you don't mind getting really dirty. Right. Because I find personally I get really dirty doing anything. I don't think that's actually because I have one hand. I mean, maybe it plays a part, but I think it's just generally I'm a pretty messy person and I like that. But there's like the juicing technique. I use my stump as a juicer. I use it as a spatula or bowl scraper. I find it's really easy to get into the corners of a bowl to really get all the good stuff out. I use it as a lemon or lime. Like I roll it on the table to get the juice ready to go. It works really well as a sushi roller. Yeah, there's tons of techniques. It's great. It doesn't, I'd say some of my kitchen enemies are pepper grinders.
Yes, we know you have.
Yeah, so you can check out episode 2 to just look at my relationship with pepper grinders. However, I love a good challenge. So with pepper grinders, I just kind of find a way to make it work. Sometimes I'll use my feet to kind of prop it up and make it work. There's also a lot of different tools you can use. Like a really good friend of mine that I sing with in choir, she came to rehearsal one day and she gave me a thumb-powered pepper grinder for one hand. And I was like, oh, this is the best. You just push it with your thumb and it grinds the pepper for you. So that was a really nice treat.
Nice.
Well, there goes my Christmas gift idea.
Oh, that's great.
And just as a follow-up, like, have you ever used any sort of adaptive equipment?
Implements, utensils?
Yeah, good question. No, I have a dream, however, to, like, in our library, I want to 3D print a prosthetic arm with attachable whisk on it. Because it'd be so sweet to be able to whisk something and be pouring in liquid at the same time. I can do that now, but that would be so fancy. And then I could have like different attachments. One could be a spatula, one could be a knife. It would just be awesome. Maybe like a creme brulee torch, that kind of stuff. So I think that would be a sweet dream. Once a long time ago, my dad for Christmas got me a cutting board with some nails in it so I could like stick a vegetable on the cutting board and the nails and then slice it.
Right.
Then the nails got a bit rusty and that was like not super food safe. So
and then you had to get a tetanus shot.
Yeah. and actually it was a lovely gift, but I didn't end up using it. I find that I just adapt using the body that I have as opposed to using a lot of assistive technology anyway. So yeah, not too much, but I'm open to experimenting. That's for sure.
Yeah, I saw a neat little gadget. It was like a cutting board, except it had sort of a raised corner, so that it's for if you want to butter bread, you put it up there, and as you're buttering it, the bread's not going to slide around, and you can butter with one hand.
Totally, yeah. And I've seen ones with like a little elastic holders or like levers that hold the vegetables in. There's so many amazing cool kitchen gadgets out there. And
unfortunately, none of that helps me because I can't cook at all. So,
who am I talking to? Who is that?
That's Rob.
Oh, okay.
Rob, we used to refer to him as the chef because he used to bring in every single day Chef Boyardee.
That's right.
For lunch.
It was a K-slot sale.
Beef ravioli.
Well, maybe my YouTube channel is a nice challenge for you because I mean the recipes I do, they're not super complicated and pretty fun. So
I don't know. I consider anything over 2 steps complicated.
I'll keep that in mind.
I need like the crock pot channel. See, I like crock pots. I can crock pot cook because basically you're just throwing a bunch of stuff into a big vat and letting it sit for 6 hours and then eating it.
Oh, so true. And crock pots are amazing for vegans too because you can just throw beans in, make a chili, and then you have meals for 3 days, you know?
And so did you always have this passion for cooking, or has it really just been since...
The conversion to vegan?
Yeah, I liked cooking before, but I didn't do a lot of it. And since my dietary changes, which really kind of, essentially forced me into becoming a better chef. And then I started realizing that the act of cooking is super fun. And the ritual of it, like chopping the vegetables, looking at your recipe, listening to some music while you cook, and smelling your spices and really feeling your ingredients was really therapeutic. And so now it's a part of my daily practice. Like I make a point of trying to cook at least once a day, or if not as many times as I can in a week, to prepare a meal, because it's just incredible and oftentimes can take the same amount of time as it would to take to order out, or definitely it's faster than going out to a restaurant because you're in your own home. But I just love it.
And speaking of prep time, how long do you find that it takes you to prepare for an episode?
0 minutes. No, that's not all the way true. Some of the episodes I had literally zero prep time. It was just like, wow, I want to make a snack. Let's film this. which I think kind of adds to the charm. I mean, you don't really know what's going to happen, and which is kind of fun. Keeps it interesting for me while I'm editing anyway. But other ones, might take a little longer because I have to write out a grocery list and then go and get the ingredients and then come back and film it. But I don't script the episodes. I don't write them. I think a lot of YouTubers write out episodes, which is awesome. And I might try that one day for sure. But I'm not super, I'm a little bit forgetful. So I think even if I did script it, I would forget what I wanted to say anyway. So very little prep time.
Now you have somebody helping you, right? Like somebody, you actually have a camera, I'm in quotes, a camera person, because you film all on your iPhone, correct?
I sure do. Yeah, I use an iPhone 6S, which is an incredible filming tool. And there's a feature on it that you can film in even more high definition than regular. So it's great. And most of my episodes, to date have been filmed by my partner, Alison Brooks Starks. She uses her elbow as the tripod and stands on a chair. And it's pretty great.
I noticed watching a couple of the episodes that there's editing cuts in it. What sort of things do you cut out? What's going on behind the curtain?
Well, there's so I keep a lot of the mistakes in. I keep when I drop something or mess up, I keep those in because they're funny. But really what I'm cutting out are the lulls, or if I need to leave to go to another room to get something that I've forgotten, or if I need to take a bathroom break, or if I need to charge my phone for a minute. So just the uninteresting stuff. Yeah, but I keep most of the juicy bits in.
And what are you using as editing software?
I use Final Cut Pro X, which is an incredible software. It's a little bit pricey, so I did save up a bit to get it. It costs about $400. However, when I started filming and started getting into this YouTube situation, I actually used the makerspace, the library makerspace, because they have a lot of computers that have Final Cut Pro X in their suites. And so I would use a storage device and then do editing here and then take it home. It was really great. But then as I was doing more and more, I needed to have a computer at home. So I actually saved up. I got a new laptop with a bit more storage, and I bought the Final Cut Pro program. So now I can do my editing on the road. But yeah, Final Cut Pro is awesome. It's very user-friendly. And there's tutorials online that you can learn some basics, and it's great.
And so it's it didn't really cost you all that much to really get started. I mean, really, it sounds like if have iPhone and friend can have a show.
Definitely. Yeah. And you don't even need to necessarily buy this software. There's lots of software that comes already. If you have a Mac computer, for example, or if you have access to a library that has software at it, you can use that for free. You can use iMovie. I've never taken the time to learn it. Many phones, you don't even need an iPhone. Many phones take really good high quality video that you can use to edit. So yeah, having a YouTube show, I think is just really about having a joy and passion for doing a thing that you love, and then making a bit of time to make it happen. So yeah, it's not super expensive to get started, that's for sure. What's the response been to the YouTube channel so far? It's been really great. I think I think a lot of people get a real kick out of it, and it genuinely makes them laugh out loud, which is kind of the point, because it makes me laugh all the time. I really do this for myself. It's pretty awesome. But it's been fun. It's been supportive. And even as the viewership kind of grows and my subscriptions grow, it's continually positive, which is lovely. I'm really lucky.
So can you give us an idea of just what steps were involved? What sort of took you from the idea of, hey, maybe I should shoot some video of me cooking and throw it on YouTube, to really where you're at today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think the first thing that's really important, and I got this advice from Stephen Robinson, who is a local YouTube sensation here in Edmonton. His channel is called 52skills.com, and so check him out. He's super rad. His first piece of advice was, really just do it, and do it by telling people that you're going to do it. So don't just make it up in your mind that you're going to create a video, create a YouTube channel. You have to tell people to keep you accountable, because if you tell 10 friends, then they're going to be expecting that. And so that's a really great way to challenge yourself to do it. And so then once you do it, sticking to a schedule is really nice. It's nice for your viewers to know that, okay, you're going to put a video out roughly once a week on X day. And then I do that. I do a video once a week. I do a bit of a promo on Facebook for each video. So far, I only advertise on Facebook. I haven't done it in other venues, but there's lots of other ways you can promote your videos that I'm sure I'll learn about. And, you do some targeted promotion to loved ones and friends in your life that maybe aren't on Facebook, but you want to bring your videos joy to them. It's actually surprisingly not too time intensive. A couple other steps that I've taken that I think are important are creating custom thumbnails. So as people are going through YouTube and they're looking at your videos, they're really attractive to click on. So not just a still photo, but like putting your logo on. Oh, that's another thing, actually. I developed a logo in what program? An editing software program, Adobe Editor, I think. Which I taught myself how to use. And it's not a great logo at all. Really, really not. But I just rolled with it. So that took about half an hour to learn and to do. Have a logo and make your thumbnails really pretty. And I did that by downloading a free program. It's called Snagit Editor. It's like a 30-day free trial. So I'm going to do as many as I can for free and then see if I can do it elsewhere.
And what kind of response have you got from your friends and family?
Just that they really, really like it. Like it, just that, it's funny. It's joyful to watch. It's funny, like as soon as I started putting out the videos, everybody has ideas, which is so welcome. And I actually need and want more, but like, they're like, oh, have you tried, what about pizza? Or what about, can you do vegan hot dog? Or what about blah, blah, blah. And so I'm getting great suggestions. Also good ideas for collaboration. So I have a lot of friends who have small children and they're like, you should do a whole kids series. Like, here, have my child. So they're like throwing their kids at me to do sweet collaborations with their children, which I think are going to be hilarious. And they're great. Like, they're sharing the videos, they're liking them on YouTube. They're just, being really supportive and awesome.
So what's your dream for this? When you sit down at night and you're thinking about Stump Kitchen, where it could go, do you see yourself up there, cursing back at Gordon Ramsay?
Wow, that is a great idea. Now that is a dream. Yes.
Get him on your show.
Like, one of the episodes, I think it's the sushi episode, Molly and I are sharpening our knives, and we were like, we don't know how to sharpen a knife. So we YouTubed Gordon Ramsay, how to sharpen your knife. And he was a bit of an inspiration for one of them, I guess. But yeah, that's a really good question. I don't really have any specific goals or senses of, what I see for this in the future. However, I do want it to become something that is a regular, expected, and loved thing in my community as well as the YouTube community. So I hope that it continues for a long, long time. I hope to, get more subscribers and to get more views. But other than that, I just want it to continue to be fun and to bring joy and laughter to folks. And then, of course, like, there's some specific people in a dream world, I would love to collaborate with, like Hannah Hart from My Drunk Kitchen. That would be a hilarious collaboration. Like, oh my goodness. So I guess that would be a sweet dream. Mm-hmm. We could call it My Drunk Stump Kitchen. What would that be like?
That would be brilliant.
That would be a little scary and a little awesome.
Indeed, it'd be funny.
You mentioned your community. Tell us about your community.
Edmonton. I love it. It's the best. I live in this sweet town, and my life has taken me in so many different places that I have ties and relationships to many different communities within this great town. So, for example, the arts community. My sister is a professional dancer with the Good Women Dance Collective, and I get to see that world. And then I sing in choir, and I've got lots of musical ties to the city. I work on artistic boards. I'm part of the Cripsy Dance Collective, which is an integrated dance group. So lots of ties with the disability community, and then the library community. Like, there's just so many great spheres that I get to play with and be a part of. And they're pretty awesome people.
We had an office in Edmonton for many years. We've just lost our last employee in Edmonton and hired somebody down in Airdrie, just outside of Calgary. But I've spent a lot of good times in Edmonton. It's a fun town.
Oh yeah, it's a great place. It's like things are happening here, and there's pretty awesome. Oh, you know what? I just remembered the dream I had. Let's back up to that.
Okay, tell us your dream.
Yeah. So my secret dream, which is now going to be public on your podcast, is I would love eventually to open a restaurant called Stump Kitchen that served vegan and gluten-free cooking, and that I, upped my chef skills so I could actually be a real live chef in a real live restaurant. And all of the chairs in the restaurant would be tree stumps.
Nice.
That's my dream. I think it would be fantastic.
That would. Well, in Vancouver here, we have a restaurant called the Dark Room that simulates, I guess it simulates the experience of dining as a blind person.
Yeah.
They completely shut out every bit of light. They have these thick curtains over the doors and all the windows, and you're let in like you're blind, and
they sit you down. The only time that you actually get to see light is when they take you to the bathroom.
That is so cool.
Because nobody wants to see a bunch of amateurs using a bathroom. Save that for the professionals.
That's right.
I think most, if not all, of the wait staff are blind.
They are. Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. So my advice, though, if you ever do that, don't order the pasta.
Or the steak. The steak is very complicated.
Well, luckily I'm vegan and gluten-free, so neither of those would be on my menu choices.
But it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting experience as somebody who's sighted to all of a sudden, the shoes on the other foot for us. We all went as a work event, and Ryan, being blind, he was basically the only one that was,
comfortable.
Yep. Yeah. There's no problem. It's just another day for him, and all of us, we're wearing half our food. And
how interesting when the tables are turned.
Exactly.
Yeah. That actually reminds me of a story that I shall tell now. For one of my birthdays a couple years ago, and I invited all of my really close, lovely friends. We had a big group of us, and it was a stump themed birthday party. So it was really all about celebrating stumps, and not just arm stumps of all kinds, like tree stumps. And my sister dressed up as like the log woman from, what's that show?
Twin Peaks? Yeah,
from Twin Peaks. And so we had food that was stump shaped, like big cucumbers, and it was just great. And halfway through, and just a little warning, I wouldn't do this in general life because there's the chance that it can go quite badly. But with trusted friends in an enclosed space in my own home, it made sense to do. But we made it an optional stump challenge for folks. So a couple of us, we pulled my friends together, and I duct taped one of their hands, and then we had races to see who could tie their shoe the fastest and put their hair in a ponytail, eat their food. And it was pretty funny. I don't think I won all the challenges, which was a little bit scary and funny to find out. But I will say, there was a moment in the party where, the folks that had done the challenges, they had the duct tape on their hands. We were finished, and I looked up and I looked around the room, and they were all kind of holding their plates or holding their wine glasses in similar ways that I would, like closer to their body or kind of balancing stuff. And it was, I don't know, there's something really heartwarming about them kind of taking the risk to try this out and, not necessarily know what it's like or to share my experience, but it just warmed my heart to see. Then again, I don't think that's something I'd ever do on my show because it can get a bit tricky around like what it's like to be living in someone else's shoes and trying stuff out as kind of a tokenistic way. But in that setting, it was really lovely to do.
We've had a similar sort of issue in the blindness community or in the low vision and blindness community around the issue of using sight simulators. There's been a fair bit of politics around whether or not it's appropriate to use sight simulators. So what I'm talking about are things like they'll have welding goggles and they'll have a big splash of paint in the middle of it to simulate something like macular degeneration, and somebody can wear it and go, oh, that's what it's like to have macular degeneration.
Yeah.
But some people really got quite up in arms about it because it was doing it in a tokenistic kind of way, as you put it.
Yeah.
It's
that's really interesting because I think those situations, like if they're just kind of a one-off and there's no sustained conversation, then definitely can be tokenistic and do more harm than good and lead people to think like, oh, it would suck to be blind. And it's like, actually, no, it can be pretty rad. And like, this is how people live their life in diverse ways. And I think if those experiences are then followed up with some dialogue or some conversations about how we live in an actually pretty ableist society, and looking at things in a different perspective to make our own practices more inclusive and to think about like, oh yeah, like how would someone with one hand do that? I've never thought about that before. And really expanding our vocabulary for what's possible in the world versus being kind of tokenistic about it. So yeah, it's a tricky one for sure. But I think the conversation afterwards is the important part. And if you don't have that, then yeah, can be tricky.
Well, and I think for sure, I mean, that's one of the important things I think about, you say your YouTube channel in particular is that, you really use your humor as a tool. And, I think we can all tell that, that's sort of just your personality in general.
Sure is.
But it's, it's no accident that, using humor can be a really powerful agent.
Yeah, I think that's true. In some cases, I will say, as you said, it's just who I am, and like the fact that I'm pretty positive and humorous is just my nature. It doesn't have a lot to do with my arm, but it's fun to kind of combine the two. But also recognizing that a lot of folks don't really have don't take a humoristic way of looking at their own disability or experience. And that's just as valid. Like we all have different relationships with our bodies and who we are. And it's good to really not assign value to what might be better or worse. The fact that I'm pretty positive and pretty humorous it's a part of who I am as a person, holistically. And I like it a lot. It's really fun to make people laugh.
Well, I think, a sense of humor is good for anybody, no matter where they are in life or
Totally.
whether they're able-bodied or not. I mean, let's face
Totally.
it, people who have no sense of humor, that's a way bigger disability than anything that could possibly happen to you.
Yeah, it's nice to have a balanced approach, a balanced outlook, I'd say. But, I really like a good cry. And one of the things about this YouTube series is when I started it, I was in a very, very low place. I had been diagnosed with depression. I was coming through some pretty hard challenges, and I still struggle with depression on and off. And so the first couple episodes were really kind of transformational for me, because watching myself and editing myself in this funny, full of joy way was really an interesting mirror to reflect back to say, hey, you can be joyful. Remember this. So for me, it was actually a lovely mental health tool to kind of get me through some harder times. So I'd highly recommend, if you're feeling kind of down, make a video of yourself doing a weird thing, and it might make you laugh. for me, it really worked.
For somebody like myself who lives off steak and bacon and cheese, what would be your favorite recipe?
Oh, great question. Well, I mean, I have a ton of recipes that are going to come out soon, but of the ones that are up right now, I would say first and foremost, episode 2, chicken wings. So you make the chicken wings out of a head of cauliflower. The sauce has like Frank's Red Hot sauce, gluten-free flour. You bake them and you make a sweet dipping sauce, and it's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say start there for sure.
Yeah, it'll be a miracle if we can get, if you can wean Ryan off of steak and cheese and bacon.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'll try the chicken wing recipe, but I don't know.
But he'll put cheese on it.
And he'll cover it in bacon.
That's right. Bacon wrapped cauliflower.
Yeah, and you can get vegan cheese. It's pretty good. Okay, that's cool.
That's like vegan bacon. No.
To each their own. It's all
That's
good.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, if I ever did get the opportunity to get out to Edmonton and cook with you, what would I cook? And the first thing that sprung to mind was my awesome potato salad recipe. And then I thought, no, there's a ton of bacon in there. That's pretty much what makes it awesome.
Well, actually, I've got a really sweet vegan recipe for bacon that you make with coconut flakes and liquid smoke and maple syrup. And you toss them all together and then you bake them and they crisp up. So there are definitely things that we could do if we ever cook that together.
Interesting. Well, I think the other ingredient, of course, would be mayonnaise. What do you do in place of mayonnaise?
I just use vegan mayo. There's tons of options in the stores right now, and you can get them at most grocery stores. A lot of health food grocery stores will carry it too, and they have tons of varieties. So I just buy a jar of vegan mayo. It's just made with vegetable oil versus animal fats. It's super tasty.
Well, like I said before, Steve really enjoys to cook, so maybe Steve will have to bring in lunch.
Yeah.
A vegan, gluten-free lunch.
No, I smell a crossover episode here.
I think that'd be sweet.
Well, we actually do have a YouTube bit that we do as well called AT with beer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So we could do Stump Kitchen with beer.
We could.
Yeah.
Yes, we could. There's gluten-free beer we could get.
Gluten-free beer. We can do that.
That's so great. Yeah, I think these conversations are so important because dietary needs and different dietary restrictions that people have are super important. That's actually another accessibility thing that is really important to talk about because, if you're having friends over or you're planning a meeting or whatever and you're offering food, I've been in many situations where I've been in these situations and I there's nothing I can eat, and then the host feels bad and then you feel weird and it's all stressful. But if we just kind of proactively think, yeah, I'm going to have some vegan options and gluten-free options, maybe think about nut allergies. And then of course you can check out my channel for good, recipe options in those areas. Then we're kind of making our food a little bit more accessible from the get-go. Which I'm learning is really important.
I'm going to have to ponder that because we actually, in the townhouse complex I live in, we do a potluck every long weekend. And our potluck's coming up in 2 days. And I'm just thinking about my neighbor, Shelley, who is gluten intolerant.
Well, Stump Kitchen might be your place to go. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, we also have, we've got Muslims in the neighborhood, so that rules out pork products. We've got Shelley. Our friend Vicky often joins us. She's vegetarian. So,
yeah, it's great to talk about.
Yeah. See, it could be the sweetheart of the neighborhood and actually cook to them.
I thought I was being very accommodating by making some of my potato salad without bacon.
Hey, we all got to take steps.
That's right. Baby steps.
Yeah, we're getting there.
What are your plans for any future episodes? What do you got coming up?
Yeah, so I've currently I'm in the process of editing a ramen episode, which is
Ramen.
Really,
now
really
you're talking my language.
Now you've got Rob's attention.
Yeah.
Because
So
when he switched
that
off of
was-
Chef Boyardee, he switched straight to ramen.
Oh my god, so good.
Instant noodles.
Yeah. So we have a ramen episode coming up probably next week. Tonight I'm filming an episode with Stephen Robinson from 52 Skills on making tomato aspic. I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
Yes.
You do? See,
I knew
I do.
Steve would.
My mom used to make tomato aspic all the time.
Yeah. I think certain groups or certain families have interesting memories associated with it. You either love it or you hate it. And it's like this tomato jelly that you eat at holiday dinners and stuff. And I'm one of those people that absolutely loves it. And so I was researching gluten-free vegan recipes because you can't use gelatin. So tonight I'm going to try it with Steven. I'm going to try to make a vegan version. And then I've got kind of a sleepy morning routine episode coming up that kind of sees me in all of my morning glory. Yeah. And then I think pizza will be the one after that. So
Yay.
yeah, gotta love that pizza.
Mm-hmm. And on the topic of pizza, what would be your gluten-free beer pick?
Oh, good question.
You need beer with a pizza.
Absolutely.
For sure. So.
Yeah, I'm totally going to add that. That's a good point. Greens is a really, really good gluten-free beer. It's I don't think it's from North America. It might be imported. I could be wrong, but it has a flavor that's similar to Belgian beer. So it's just delightful. It tastes probably the most real out of all the gluten-free beers that I've had.
Have you seen that one, Steve?
I don't think I have. No, the only gluten-free beer I've seen is the stuff that my neighbor Shelley drinks, and I had one bottle of it sitting in my fridge for about 2 months before she came back over again, and I got to give it back to her.
So you haven't tried it?
I've never tried it.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
I had lots of gluten-full options. So.
The other thing that we noticed when watching your YouTube channel is on occasion there might be the odd 4-letter word.
Yep.
Sometimes strung together.
Yeah. Yes, in very creative ways.
Colorful.
Yeah.
Was that a creative choice, or was that just?
Yeah, good question. I honestly hadn't thought about it until I started filming. And the first episode, it just naturally flowed. And so I just kind of rolled with it. I found that as I was creating on the spot, the swears were coming, and I didn't want to censor myself because I would have to think too hard. So I think maybe their like swearing is actually related to my creativity. I don't know why. But I love it. I think language is interesting and dynamic and important. Some episodes I swear, some episodes I don't, some episodes I bleep out the swears. So I take a lot of diverse approaches to swearing because it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Right.
But ultimately I love it. They're in there. They're in the episode.
There's something about working with your hands, I think, that just automatically the brain goes there. I know I was trying to install our video capture card on our multimedia machine yesterday, and yeah, I had some creative usages of 4-letter words that were coming out of this room.
Okay, so what's your favorite expletive? What's your go-to swear? What do you
Go ahead.
What really?
I can say it on the show.
Absolutely.
Because we're just going to beep it out anyway.
All right. Well, I love
It's a classic.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
pretty much my favorite one.
I read a book by a guy. Now I'm blanking on his name here. It was called Fool. Christopher Moore. It's a very, very funny book. And it's about a fool in a king's court, and he had one that has just stuck with me ever since. It's stockings. I just love that.
See, ever since last week, and you showed me all those Donald Trump,
The Scottish.
the Scottish, all the Scottish
slang.
insult.
Yeah.
I think my new favorite is trumpet.
Some of those were pretty funny.
Oh my God, they were all amazing.
There's now a video on I think it's on YouTube of David Tennant, the guy who played Doctor Who, reading those.
Oh, Rit?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay, I gotta find that.
We should find that. I haven't actually watched it yet. I just saw it come past on Facebook.
Oh, that's brilliant. So again, that's Stump Kitchen on YouTube. We'll of course link to it in the show notes. I suggest everybody check it out.
Subscribe to the channel.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And Alexis, do you have a Facebook or Twitter account people can follow you on?
I sure don't. That'll be step 2 in my YouTube adventures. Maybe eventually, but not right now. But you could definitely check out the channel, and you can email me at stumpkitchen@gmail.com. So yeah.
Perfect. See, she got her email address in one shot.
One shot.
Unlike us.
Because I work with some trumpets.
Oh, hey. That's getting bleeped.
Well, if that's all, then I want to thank Alexis for joining us today, making the time.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Totally. It was awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, and keep up with the good cooking.
And we'll stay in touch.
We will. See ya.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. So, generally in here, we'd maybe plug an upcoming show, but you know what? We don't know what the heck we're going to do in our
Well, I'm gone
show.
next week, so it's up to you two. Are you guys going to do your superheroes, or
I don't know. We have to talk about
Yeah, I actually should reach out to some of my friends in the comic book community.
So, yeah, in general, we don't know what we're doing next week, so it'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise show.
surprise to us?
That's right. It'll even be a surprise to us. You're like, what? What are we doing here? Why are these microphones?
I don't know. Where's Ryan?
Yeah, where's Ryan?
It's in the quiet guy.
We need his
He's in the
enthusiasm.
corner.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for everybody for listening in. We have a website. Tell us about it.
Well, our website is www.atbanter.com.
And what's the email address, Ryan?
Email address is atbanterpodcast@gmail.com.
Email us, please.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you.
So, signing off, I'm Steve Barclay.
I'm Rob Minot.
And I'm Ryan Fleury.
Thanks, everybody, for listening in, and we will see you next week.
Ciao.
Bye.
This podcast has been brought to you by Aroga Technologies. Visit Aroga Technologies online at www.aroga.com. That's AROGA.com. Music provided by bensound.com.